I'll tell you, the New York Times yesterday, this was kind of funny too. The New York Times decided it was time to get really mad. So they wrote an editorial really ripping into Obama over this. They called it President Obama's dragnet. The editors at the New York Times were hopping mad, or at least they're pretending to be. And they really got carried away. They had to change their original editorial. They reissued it. The original editorial said the administration has now lost all credibility. They changed that in their second issuance to the administration has now lost all credibility on this issue. But the point is they were right the first time. I don't know, maybe they don't want to shock their readers with so much truth. But they went so far as to say at the New York Times, Mr. Obama is proving the truism that the executive branch will use any power it's given and very likely abuse it. Now, keep in mind, this was written by people who are the loudest proponents of the expansion of government. These are people who don't believe the government can possibly get too big. It's not possible for it to get too big. It's not possible for the government to get too powerful. It's not possible. And yet they are worried at the New York Times about what is happening to it under the guidance of the presidency of Mr. Obama. What everybody knows and nobody wants to really come to grips with is that we are in the midst of a coup taking place. Now, I know what's going to happen. I had the people on the other side of the glass going, will you dial that coup talk back? That's all the headlines are going to be. I don't care. In fact, it's almost on a par with I hope he fails. How does that sound now, by the way? I hope he fails. I'm constantly looking for ways here to persuade people of what I passionately believe. And I'm not in it to lie to anybody. There's nothing to be gained by lying to you about what I really think. There's nothing to be gained here by lying about facts. There's nothing to be gained here by gaining ground under false pretense. So if the Constitution exists as it is, the country was founded as it was, and an administration comes along and doesn't like that, and is doing everything it can to overturn that Constitution without a convention, doing everything it can to change the direction of this country, and what's the word, transform it? What's wrong with calling this a coup? Mr. Limbaugh, a coup is when rebels join forces with the military and start launching military attacks and shooting people. No, not always. And that's my point. You ever heard about, remember when I was a kid, my dad kept saying, son, if things don't change, the Soviets are going to take over this country without firing a shot. What he was talking about was a coup.